drivers who know how to win races and add some older ones who know how to win titles. Sprinkle in a few interlopers from the Sprint Cup Series garage. Add NASCAR's fastest open-wheel stock cars. You've got the recipe for a perfect storm. Welcome to Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol Motor Speedway, and the University of Northwestern Ohio Perfect Storm 150 for NASCAR's Wheel and Modified North and South Tours. Hi everybody, welcome to Bristol. Mike Choi with Dick Berggren. Lifelong fans of NASCAR's open wheel modified division. Dick saw his first modified race at age 8 and could tell you everything about it if only we had time. But talk about time, we've been waiting a long time for this. The first appearance of the Mod Squad at Bristol.
And this is absolutely the most anticipated race for this division in at least 20 years. I mean, you've got all this history and all the drama that Bristol has produced. Mix it in with the speed and excitement of the modifieds. You got the recipe for a great night.
They practiced yesterday and attempted qualifying today. There is Ryan Newman. He is driving for Kevin Mannion in a car painted up to resemble the late Tom Baldwin's. Tommy Baldwin Jr. is the crew chief on this car. Owned by Al Hankey and John Holland, it's driven by Casey Kane. In practice, defending series champ Ted Christopher in the 36 had fast time for much of the sessions. And then very late, another past champion, Donny Lia, driving the Mystic Missile, took the top time of the day at under 15 seconds per lap. Qualifying, well, the Perfect Storm was there too. It was a real frog swallower, and qualifying was washed out after only half a dozen cars had taken to the track. So the field is set 5 points, and that means 3 drivers would have had to go home. James Savali, who has not yet raced this year, and the 2 Cup drivers. But the field has been expanded from 36 to 39 cars, so there is Ryan Newman's mount. He will start in the back, right alongside Casey Kane in the Mohawk Northeast car. Let's go up to the other end of the grid, up to the front row, and meet another lifelong fan of the modifieds, Speed's Bob Dillner.
By the grace of God and 600 horsepower, Mike, that's what modified drivers live by. On the pole will be the defending Wheel and Modified Tour champion, Teddy Christopher. And Teddy, what are we going to expect from tonight's race?
Oh, definitely some high speeds. We were pretty fast in practice, and I just hope it turns out to be a good race. We'll see how it is for passing, but if I really knew what it would be, I guess I'd be a genius. But I think it's going to be a good race. We'll see what happens.
Teddy Christopher, 51 years of age, and it is a battle of the ages here today at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll get a word with the man that leads the Southern Modified Tour points, George Brunhutzel III. Georgie, what is it going to be like to lead the field here with Teddy Christopher to the green flag for the first time ever for the mods at Bristol?
Oh, it's going to be great. It's something we've been looking forward to for a long time. So coming here, starting on the front row, it's definitely going to be fun.
George Brunhutzel, very excited here. Like I said, a battle of the ages. 51 years of age for the 36 and 24 for Georgie.
Wow. Now, for something you'll really like. Point standings. First, Ted Christopher leads the points for the Wheel and Modified Tour. Todd Zegedy's a past champion. One of the kids, Ryan Priest, Donny Lia, he's been a champion here. Rowan Pennick, Jimmy Blewett, Woody Pitcat, there's your top 10 with multiple-time champion Mike Stefanik rounding the top 10. So they will have the inside lane, rows 1 through 10. Here's who'll start in the outside lane, rows 1 through 10. George Brunhutzel III, you just heard from. Andy Seiss, Brian Lofton, Frank Fleming, still getting around here at an age over his car number. L.W. Miller, the Myers, Bert and Jason, Gene Pack, John Smith, Buddy Emery. Top 10 from the Modified South Tour. Bobby Hutchins getting ready to go. And we'll be back with a Perfect Storm 150 from Bristol. NASCAR's quickest cars take on the world's fastest half mile. Top practice speed, 128.5 miles an hour. Weather, we've been fighting it all day. It is cloudy, it is muggy, but we're ready to race, having fought through 4 showers throughout the day. It's 150 laps at Bristol. They'll run 75 laps and then take a halftime break. Once the last of the cars gets and stops on pit road, the teams will have 5 minutes to make any normal changes and adjustments. Then we'll run the race's second half. These cars used to have big block fuel-injected engines, but over the years the drivetrains have evolved where they're much like the Cup cars. The 2 big differences, one is weight. These cars are 800 pounds lighter. The second big difference can best be shown you by Bob Dillner.
Tires are the biggest difference, and tonight these babies will be burning rubber around this 38-degree banking here. This is a modified tire. Check this baby out. It is wide as anything, 13 inches actually here, almost 14 on the plane. They stick to the track like glue. Now, if you compare it to the Cup tire that the Sprint Cup Series will use this weekend, if you go across, it's only 10.5 inches, a lot more room to play with. This is a radial tire. This is a bias ply, and that's what gives the modifieds the speed, is the grip that these guys get around this high banked oval.
It is thought they might be pulling 3 Gs plus in the corners. Wow.
Yeah, and we know that from telemetry that was put in one of these cars during a testing session earlier. 3.8 around and 3.2 Gs down.
Todd Szegedy is a former champion of the Tour. Drives for Don Barker. A lot of chassis dynamics engineering. Bob Cuneo, the late Bobby V. Built their race cars out of Oxford, Connecticut. That's where this one's housed. Look at that view. Wow. And we'll also ride along with Ryan Newman. Now he's driving for Kevin Mannion, who is also a former modified series crew chief before he made his way to the Nationwide Series and Sprint Cup with Martin Truex. Now we had the 1 to go. So next time around, that pace truck will drop off and we'll be ready to go for 150 laps.
And for virtually all the practice, almost every car has been on the bottom of this racetrack. The top groove is green. Let's see if they try to get down to the bottom or try to make something out of it upstairs.
The track is not quite green. We had truck qualifying just prior to lining the cars up for this race. But you're right, that upper groove is virgin territory.
It is.
We'll see how they fare 2 by 2. Ted Christopher, George Brunholzl III from Long Island, but racing the Southern Tour as point leader. Green flag. And it's Christopher hauling off in lane 1. Down on the bottom. As Brunholzl's 28 works the high side. Nice incident-free start.
Todd Szegedy running in the 3rd position, probably has more laps in this kind of car on this track than any other driver. He did both of the open test sessions, plus he also tested for Hoosier, and it seems as if every time there was an opportunity to practice yesterday and today, he has.
Andy Seiss got loose on the high side. In the 47, he lost 4th to Ryan Preece, and now he gives up 5th to Donny Lia. 2 cars are piled up on the backside.
Matt Hirschman in the number 50 is one of those cars.
And there's the 91 of James Savali returning the Tour, and trouble for Newman.
Yeah, big trouble. That thing is wrecked. He's done. Oh, I guess.
Yeah, the whole right front suspension is sheared, and the Nerf bar is into the right rear tire.
Yeah, they won't get that car back out again tonight, I don't think.
Newman is attempting to run all 4 of the races at Bristol this weekend. 1,100 racing miles. And we got a bit of a look at it.
Oh,
it's in progress.
yeah.
Now you're riding with Ryan Newman. You know where to go. Well, with qualifying rained out, starting in the back, that was one of the fears and the issues. It was Ken Hagee who Ryan Newman ran into, and may have put his weekend off to a not so great start.
Newman had struggled with that car in practice, Mike. When he first got here, it was just really, really slow, very loose. And finally got it dialed in. He was hoping he's going to have a big night.
Tough break for Ryan Newman. We're under the first caution flag of the day. Early in this one, you're riding with him. Just ahead is the 18 of Ken Hagee. And things stack up here. Newman got hit in the right rear and sent his Kevin Mannion car into the wall and out of the race. Ryan's with Bob Dillner.
And Ryan won a race in this car down in New Smyrna Speedway during Speed Weeks, but you're out early. Tell us what happened. We just watched the videotape, but from your perspective.
I just checked up and I hit the guy in front of me, but I got hit from behind and he just shot me right straight into the wall. So it was unfortunate. Wish I wouldn't have got rained out in qualifying, but we got to thank Aggressive Hydraulics for coming on board. Kevin Bono, Mannion, and Gary and these guys did a great job. It's a great place, great race cars, great place to race, and I think Teddy's going to be tough here.
He's a short timer, but he had a lot of fun, guys.
Thanks, Bob. Green flag. Christopher takes off with the lead. The car's knocked out in that race. Buddy Emery, James Savali, Matt Hirschman, and Ryan Newman. So 39 started, 35 remain. Lessons learned, Dick, because quickly the top dozen go single file.
As soon as they could, they got single file.
Well, not back here. 16 is Mike Stefanik, trying to work the outside along with the 6 of Jason Myers.
Stefanik, a 7-time champion in this series.
This battle is back at 15th. That's Rudolph on the inside, and the 79 of Ronnie Silk. Ahead of them, everything is single file. The 99 in the middle of that pack. The yellow card, Jamie the Jet Tomeno, won the championship in this division 2 decades ago. He's still out there slugging it. He is the 1990 series champion, the 3rd car on your screen.
He's also the most experienced driver here. This is start number 506 for Jamie.
Wow. He makes the pass. And with him comes John Smith in the 25. Everybody lining up on the bottom. Next, the 31 of Gene Pack, one of the Bowman Gray Stadium regulars in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Southern beachhead for the modifieds.
And Pack is the oldest driver in the field today, 57 years old.
Glenn Reen makes a pass in the 17. Up front, Ted Christopher and Todd Zagady for the moment content to run single file, but it won't be long before they're into some traffic.
Riding with Zagady here.
They clear a lapped car. And they've got a good cushion over 3rd place. Now, if you're Todd Zagady, is Teddy Christopher the kind of guy you want to battle for the lead early?
Not early, no. The smart thing to do would be to cool it and just sort of follow each other for a bit here. Let the rest of things happen behind you. And then once you get that lap 75 deal, then you go at it tooth and nail, hammer and tong. You got a Chevrolet engine leading. Zagady drives with a Ford engine under the hood of his car. Zagady's car sponsored by the title sponsor of the event. Neat
Northwest Ohio.
Yeah, it's a neat school, Mike. It really is. They've got a high performance program there. 18 of the students from the school are here. It's the only school I know that has 2 race cars and a speedway.
All right, Wade Cole from Riverton, Connecticut, drops a lap to the leaders, and they close up on Glenn Tyler.
And this is what's going to make a second groove now. Some of the slower cars on the bottom, and the leaders are going to have to pass them on the high side. They're going to put some rubber down upstairs, and that's going to give us the second lane.
Johnny Bush in the 58, about to go a lap down. Here's Bob.
Here's what's really interesting, guys, about the battle between Ted Christopher and Todd Zagady. That's 1 and 2 in the NASCAR Northern Wheel and Modified Tour points right now. I got a chance to speak to Todd just before he climbed in the car, and he said the car was fast in practice, but the speed didn't show. He said he thinks he has a car that could challenge TC, and nobody thought anybody could touch TC here today at Bristol.
Thanks, Bob. 27 laps on the board. they go quickly here. Ted Christopher has led from the start. He is a Whelen All-American Series champion, now a Whelen Modified champion, multiple track championships, and the winningest driver at his home track, Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut.
And 91 victories at that track. Amazing. He's also 4th in national short track points for the NASCAR Whelen Racing Series. So Christopher, certainly one of the top drivers in the modifieds, maybe the best there is right now.
Jordan. Richard Savory going a lap down to the leader, Ted Christopher, closing in on 30 laps complete. Sending the crew into panic mode. Yeah, Big Block Thursday, tomorrow at 8 Eastern, only on Speed. Ted Christopher, the red number 36 year leader. Todd Zegedy in second. They've run that way most all the race. About to put a lap on John Smith in the 25. Now behind them, 3rd and 4th place had heated up quite a bit. And for the moment, they are deciding to kind of join the ride-along program. There's the 28. That is George Brunholzl the third. When you see all those Brunholzl jacks on pit road, those lightweight jacks, that's his family that invented those.
Yep, that's Dad.
Yep, Dad's here, former racer in the modifieds. And right behind is Donny Lia, who won the championship for Bob Garbarino, left the series to go truck racing after 2007. Had a bit of success in the trucks, won a race, lost his ride. He's back in a modified and looking for some vengeance here.
And a word about Garbarino, the guy that owns that yellow number 4 car. In 1961, Bob Garbarino fielded a modified for the very first time. He's been doing it ever since. For 48 years, that guy has put cars on the racetrack for a variety of drivers. The first national championship he ever won, Donny Lia won it for him.
So Lia in 4th. He has a pretty good cushion on Ryan Freese, who's won 2 in a row. And here's a good bit of traffic. Now that's, oh, that's Teddy Christopher.
Hello.
That's the Christopher we know and love.
Yeah, the doorbell just rang.
And it was Christopher ringing Gene Pack's bell. Teddy he's made no bones about it. I'll bump you once to let you know I'm there. I'll bump you again to let you know I need to pass. And if I got to hit you a 3rd time, you're going around.
Yeah, it ain't going to be good the 3rd time, for sure.
And that's just the code of the road in the modified division.
Well, it is, and you got to move over and let the guy go, and that's what Gene Pack has just done. But he's going to give that bottom lane away.
Now, in the bottom lane, the yellow car is Jamie Tomeno, the Jet from Howell, New Jersey, the 99, and Pack gets by Tomeno, and then here come the leaders. And that allows 3rd and 4th place, the 28 and the 4, to close right up. All right, Teddy's going to try Pack once again, looking low. The car ahead of all of them is Brian Lofton in the 23, one of the standouts of the Southern Tour.
Yeah, last year's champion.
Yeah, Christopher still can't get by. And note that Zegedy in the 2 is not trying to take advantage of Christopher right here, because nobody's run much on this racetrack in traffic. There's another chrome horn to Pack. And Teddy looks to the bottom again. Bob?
You know, you're talking about Teddy Christopher and his aggressive nature as he's trying to move around this lap traffic, and he does have that 3-tap rule. But in talking to Teddy over the last couple of weeks through the test and even here today, he said this has to be a give and take race. And that is something a lot of us modified fans would never have thought we would have heard coming out of Teddy Christopher's mouth. He has been aggressive by nature, but now as he's trying to worm his way around this lap traffic, he knows that he has to be patient, and that's what won on the championship last year.
He went to the outside of a slow car, just as Gene Pack went to the outside to pass that slow car. Now Pack to the bottom. That spot's covered. You see 3rd and 4th closing in. And finally, Christopher used the 44 as a pick to get around Gene Pack. Now here comes 3rd and 4th place, and they're not having any trouble breaking that log jam. There we go.
I think once people see Christopher get by him, they're just going to move over and let a few of the others go, and then try to battle for whatever position they can salvage out of their evening.
So the 31 of Pack now right in front of the 28 and 4, Bob.
Here's what is very interesting about George Brunholzl in that number 28 car. He's a 3rd-generation racer. You see his dad there, his crew chief, George Brunholzl Jr. His dad raced as well, so all three generations of Brunhölzls have been winners in the modified series. But you know what? Nobody has been champion. Right now, the driver of that 28 car is leading the Southern Modified Tour points. He's been reckless by nature in years past. He has learned patience. He said his big goal is to become a championship caliber driver this year.
Third and fourth place, nose to tail. Still trying to work a bit of traffic, and that has given the leaders, Ted Christopher and Todd Szegedy, a little bit of breathing room. 60 laps complete next time by. Remember, a halfway break at lap 75. Ted Christopher has been on point for the first 59 laps of this race. Friday on Speed, don't miss the ultimate Friday house party. Car owner Richard Childress and the sport's newest star, David Rudiman, join the excitement. NASCAR Trackside, Friday at 11 Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there. Welcome back to Bristol. Third place, side by side. Donny Lia takes it from George Brunhölzl III in the 28. They still trail leaders Ted Christopher and Todd Szegedy, now by about seconds. Joining us, one of the modified greats in attendance. We saw former champ Jeff Fuller here, Steve Parkus here, and Jeff Bodine, who in 1978 won 55 races in 84 starts in one of these great modifieds for Dick Armstrong. I parked next to you in the lot, and I saw you had your helmet bag. So Ronnie Silk's out of the race feeling a little ill. Gosh, if you'd only been there instead of up here, who knows?
It's your fault. I was planning on being in the infield, but you asked me to come up here, so Mike, it's your fault. I'm not going to get the chance to drive a modified at Bristol. What a race. These guys are absolutely flying out here.
In all of your years in a modified, what's the steepest bank track you ran?
You know, I think, well, you've been to Monadnock.
Yeah.
That was steep
Yep.
bank track, just a little, what, third mile. But I guess the big track, the largest track, high bank, was the old Trenton, New Jersey. Turns 3 and 4 there, it kind of reminded us of Daytona. It wasn't banked quite as much as Daytona, but it was banked quite a bit, and that was a lot of fun.
Donny Lia, former champion. 2 seasons ago, he won the title for Garbarino. He's back in that car this year, running third. Let's have another look at the pass he made on the 28 of George Brunhölzl III. This is for third place. Tell us about how you work a guy here to get by.
Well, you know, he worked it really well. He just gave him a little bump, got a little run on him off the corner, and just bumped him a little bit. And I'm sure he was looking in the mirror, he felt it, and he said, well, I better give him room. He wants to get by. And that was a good pass, and it was a good move by
Lia, Donny Lia.
Yeah.
Now look, there's the 2 of Szegedy, and trouble in the fence goes the 17 of Glenn Reen. And he slid it into the inside wall and turned at the middle of the backstretch toward turn number 3, right across from his pit. And Dick looks like a lot of right front damage.
Yeah, and that car was rebuilt, Mike, when they did one of those testing sessions here earlier in the year. Reen really racked it up, and they had to put a new front clip on it. Well, it looks like they may need another new front clip as well.
And that's exactly what happens here, guys. You've been here plenty, and the fans, I'm sure, that have watched races here have seen this many times. You spin out down the straightaways here, and you're going to hit the inside wall because the straightaways are banked towards the inside.
Well, we were going to have a caution flag anyway right around lap 75 to give the competitors an opportunity to pit. When they do pit, they're going to be able to do anything they normally would do on a regular pit stop. They cannot lift the hood. They can't open the tail end of the car without NASCAR's permission, but they can change tires and they can make routine adjustments to the cars. They'll have 5 minutes to do it. 4 men over the wall to accomplish the work.
So a tough break for Glenn Reen out of Wilbraham, Mass. Talented young driver, but finding the concrete here at Bristol, and that will put us under halftime. Now let's join Chris Devoda to tell you what's coming up next on Speed.
Thanks, Mike Joy. Halftime only appropriate because this is like the Super Bowl for the modifieds. What a crazy race and what a great warm-up for our Camping World Truck Series event coming up next here at Bristol Motor Speedway. On the setup, we're going to have some great storylines. Of course, what everyone's talking about, the guy who drives the number 33 truck, Ron Hornaday, going for 6 in a row. He is very lighthearted. He was just down here talking with me. He was actually sneaking back and forth, trying to mess with some of the officials before this truck race starts. Another story we have on the setup tonight, Donny Benson, he is back at the track. He's not racing, but he says yet. He plans to race very soon. He's getting himself in shape after that wicked wreck. Donny Benson is going to talk to us and reflect on that wreck. It's very emotional, a very powerful piece. We will have that on the setup here on Speed. That's at 8 o'clock. We're going to get you set up for the truck race. But first, when we come back, we're going to have Mike Joy, Dick Berger, and Bob Dillner. They're going to get you caught up with this modified event here at Bristol. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Speed.
At Bristol, Tennessee, we're halfway in the University of Northwest Ohio Perfect Storm 150. With Dick Berggren, I'm Mike Joy. Jeff Bodine is with us for this segment. And during the halftime break, a lot of work went on. Bob Dillner spoke to the second-place driver during the break.
Todd Szegedy may be the only driver right now with a shot at Teddy Christopher. There's a handful of them that want to go after that 36, but Todd Szegedy has been hot on his heels. Want to know in the second half of the race, do you have a shot at that 36 car?
Yeah, we definitely got a shot. You know, Teddy was starting to get real free, and he was having a real hard time getting around traffic, and my car was pretty darn good. I was just kind of riding back there, so we'll see. Teddy always finds a way to make that car a little faster, so important thing is to get a good finish here for the UNOH Ford Mustang.
Patience is the key for Todd Szegedy in getting by the 36, but somebody that cannot show any patience, Casey Kane, the driver of the number 9 Cup car in that Troyer machine. He's mired back in the pack in the 21st spot. He's having some handling difficulties. That car has not been handling well all day long, still bottoming out. He's got a long way to go and a short way to get there.
Kane's car is extremely loose. In fact, he made an extra pit stop to check, make sure he didn't have a tire going down.
Yeah, and loose is exactly what you don't want to be here. All the drivers I have talked to during the practice sessions have said you've got to be a little bit tight. Otherwise, it's just hang on, Nelly.
Yeah, I've been out there, Dick. Loose is
you know that story.
Loose is not a good thing at Bristol. Yeah, a little tight is the fast way around Bristol. Loose, you just slow down and keep getting slower and slower. And 9 out of 10 times, you're going to end up in a wreck.
Double file restart. Teddy Christopher in red. Behind him, Donny Lia in yellow. And we are back under green for the second 75 laps. And quickly scrambling back for the second spot on the outside, Szegedy in the number 2, battling Lia.
Well, Lia has the preferred place to be. He wants to be down the bottom.
Szegedy made it work.
He did.
That was tough to do on the outside.
You know, that showed him he can run on the outside. Maybe he can use that same kind of move on Teddy up front. Going to take a few laps for these tires to warm up. Maybe warm up a little too much, and he might be able to use that move again.
Woody Pitcock gains a spot, comes up to 6th. Yes, that outside groove working well. Looking back from Szegedy, that's the 2007 champ, Donny Lia.
Boy, that's a neat shot. Look how low that car is to the ground.
Jimmy Blewett slowly down pit road.
Yeah, a lot of people thought Blewett was the man to win the race, but he has had nothing but mechanical problems here since the drop of the green flag. He's many, many laps down.
A little bit of side-by-side racing here. That's Burt Myers with Doug Yates. Roush Yates power under the hood of his number 1. He's the champion at Bowman Gray.
And L.W. Miller in the 38 car, a former champion of the Southern Tour, on the bottom.
Eric Beers in the 46 right with them. The 10 is Ed Flemke Jr. Bob.
Guys, here's the situation right now. This is going to get fun because all the crews are looking at the skies and they're afraid that weather is on its way. They've seen some flashes of lightning and they've been told, hey, we got some rain cells in the area, so go for broke right now. Donny Lia is one of those guys that is going to go for it. He's rough and tumble sometimes, but he knows how to get the job done. He says he's got the car that can beat TC, and of course, we know that those two are rivals.
Well, Jeff Bodine, he just made a run underneath Todd Szegedy, but couldn't fill the slot.
Well, you know, the outside is a pretty fast groove. You keep your momentum up. We see that a lot in cup racing. Momentum on the outside, and Todd used it there, and he's still up there, and he's going to have to use it again.
Pack in the wall.
Caution. Spin down in turn 1. And that's the second one. That is not the car that brought out the caution. That is the 97 of Brian Dauza. And 31, it is Gene Pack who has brought the caution out.
I'll tell you what, Mike, looking at the front 3 cars in this race right now, Christopher, Szegedy, Lia, they starred in one of the most dramatic finishes of 2009 when coming out of turn 4, last lap of the big race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, they all crashed together.
There it was, Gene Pack.
Just lost it.
Losing the car going around.
Yep.
And he's a regular at the stadium. If you've never been to Bowman Gray in Winston-Salem, boy, that's a great place to see a race. You know the running track around most football fields? That's where the racetrack is at Bowman Gray. It's that small and it's that flat.
And you think about the transition of running there where it's so flat, and we come here and we've got this steep bank, and Bowman Gray is slow. This place is incredibly fast. A lot to get used to.
There will be a free pass. It'll go to Bobby Grigas III. So he will pick up a lap, as hopefully we are not racing the rain as the clouds work through to the south of Thunder Valley. Still 60 hot laps to go. Not the one that's approaching. Thanks to Jeff Bodine for joining us, 18-time Sprint Cup winner and heavily involved with Whelen with these world champion Bodine bobsled project. On track, Teddy Christopher, Todd Szegedy, Ryan Preece, Donny Lia, Georgie Brunholzl, Woody Pitkat, Mike Stefanik up to 7th, Rowan Pennick 8th, Burt Myers, Todd Seiss. Here we go. Green flag, lap 96 of 150.
Once again, Christopher gets to jump. These cars, the majority of these cars have 2-speed
3 wide.
Wow, look at
you
for
can't
the
do
lead.
that here.
Whoa.
You can't go 3 wide here.
Well, you can try it, but it's going to crash if you do it.
Todd Szegedy. Chevy on the bottom, Ford on the top. Szegedy got a little loose. Teddy got a half a car length of lead. 3 Tour champions fighting for the first 3 spots. Christopher prevails.
Once
Here
again
comes Lia on the bottom in the 4. And it's rain, rain, go away. We're going to get this one in as Donny Lia muscles his way to 2nd spot.
That was a nice pass.
Ryan Preece, winner of the last 2 in a row. He's moved his way up to 4th. And in 5th now, Woody Pitkat, who came off the Connecticut short tracks up to run in the top 5. Trouble for Casey Kane. He's brought his Mohawk Northeast number 98 to pit road. So both our Cup stars are either out of the race in the case of Ryan Newman, and now Kane goes behind the wall, and he's done for the day with a car that was horribly loose.
Look at
for
this.
the lead, here comes Lia.
Whoa, Lia got a tire underneath the concrete onto the asphalt and almost lost it altogether, Mike. Well, you got to hang it out. That's all there is to it. This race is nearing an end. We've got clouds overhead. Stand on the gas, risk it all.
46 laps to go. Lia gets a good run off too and crosses under. No, Teddy slams the door. Lia again looks high. Little tap. Christopher scoots away in the corner. Boy, Lia pounds Christopher coming off turn 4. That was a hard shot.
Here we go again. On the bottom. Nope.
No room. Lia's there. Did they touch?
Yes.
Yes. And Lia gets the lead.
Zegedy's now going to go after Christopher.
Remember what Zegedy said at halftime, that as the race wore on in the first half, Teddy's car wasn't as quick at the end of the segment as it was in the beginning.
Andy Seiss, the number 47.
Battling Burt Myers in the 1. They fight, slug it out on the Southern Modified Tour every week. This is for 9th place. Ed Flemke Jr.'s in there in the 10. The 38 of L.W. Miller off the Southern Tour. And the 58 of Eric Goodale. Mike Stefanik in the 16. He's trying to get past the 88 of Woody Pitcat.
Stefanik started in the 19th spot, so he has been passing cars and then some.
Stefanik was winning races in Southern New England before Pitcat had his hand on a steering wheel. And Michael is saying that his car is very loose. Battling all around the speedway here at Bristol. 39 laps to go. Couple of sprinkles. There is Lia all alone. But behind him, it's a hard battle for second as Zegedy keeps Ted Christopher just a car length away. And back here at 5th place, Pitcat and Stefanik continue nose to tail. And now Michael tries the high side. And he's going to get Woody Pitcat. Stefanik up into the top 5 now.
Well, isn't that just Stefanik's style, though? Pick them off one at a time, one after another. Nothing dramatic, nothing spectacular. But when you get to the end of the race, Mike Stefanik is always in the front.
35 laps to go. 16 cars still on the lead lap. And Donny Lia, the 2007 Series champion, is in the lead over Ted Christopher, Todd Zegedy, Ryan Preece, and Mike Stefanik. After a brief rain delay, we are back under green. Donny Lia losing the lead a lap after the restart to Ted Christopher. Mike Stefanik had fought his way up into the top 5, but expired an engine and went to the garage area. So now Lia has to fight back from 2nd place. Boy, does he get off the corner in a hurry.
Yeah, he does, and they both better watch, because the kid in that number 3, 18-year-old Ryan Preece, has won the last 2 Wheeling North modified races in a row, and he's coming.
Another crossover. Lia to the bottom. He's going to get the lead this time and takes it back from Christopher. Bob, how about that restart?
Well, very interesting on the restart. NASCAR deemed Donny Lia jumped the restart. His spotter told Donny he had to give it up. That's why he lost the lead, but that car is so good, he's already passed TC again.
Wow. There's a look at it. Lia just jumped way out from the pack. And rather than call off the restart, he gave the spot to Teddy and took it right back. That car just leaps off the corner. So here's the battle for 3rd. Ryan Preece, the youngsters who has won 2 in a row. George Brunholz with the 3rd. These are definitely 2 of the rising stars of the North and South Wheeling Modified Tours. And Brunholz's car has just gotten way loose on him. Yeah, he drops back a little bit. That car Preece is driving is Mike Bowler's. Mike's dad, Lenny Bowler, just a legendary car owner, won championships with Bud Stevens, Fred DeCero back in the Coupe days, turned it into a Vega, won a title with Wayne Anderson, and the Bowler legacy continues with the New Blue number 3.
And that particular car was built by Lenny Bowler in 1996. That's how long it's been around.
Unbelievable. And here's the move on Teddy. Nope, no room there. 12 to go this time. Lia half a straightaway out in front of this battle for 2nd. And here comes Brunholz back into play. Ted Christopher reports his car is way too loose as the laps wind down. 1 to go. Lap 149. It's Lia all alone, a straightaway ahead. Christopher trying to hold off Priest for the points for second place. Brunholzl looking on. Lia wins it. Here they come to the wire for second, and Christopher holds on. Donny Lia, 2007 Tour champion, 2003 Modified Rookie of the Year. And here is Bob Garbarino, the car owner. The fellows who have driven, there's Joan, his wife, and the folks who've driven for the Garbarinas are a who's who of modified racing. Bug Stevens, Satch Worley, Brian Ross, and one of his former drivers, Tim Connolly, is here to watch the Mystic Missile team go to victory lane. Bob?
With a very happy Bob Garbarino down here. You've won a lot of races, Bob, a veteran car owner. How does this one rank up with all of them?
You know, they're all great, and some are really, really special, and this being an inaugural race at Bristol. And I hope this does something to keep the series here, because they deserve to be in these kind of places.
You could just see Bob Garbarino very happy. He was pumping his fist as Donny crossed the checkered flag.
Won a lot of titles, but as Dick pointed out, it took from 1961 to 2007 to finally win a championship. The car has always been called the Mystic Missile for Mystic River Marina in Connecticut. That's Bob's boat business. Donny Lia, whose family owns a chain of car dealerships up in the Northeast, will celebrate his 13th career Tour victory. Truck Series win in 2008 at Mansfield, Ohio, but now he has 13 wins on the Modified Tour, including the big one at Bristol. Donny Lia with Bob Dillner.
Donny Lia congratulating the crew here. That was a wild one. You had a good battle with Teddy Christopher, but what does it mean to win at Bristol?
It's huge. Got to thank my guys, you know, and thank everybody that put this race on for us, because there's no better racing than the Modifieds, and I hope we showed that here today. You know, we were really good, I guess, because, you know, we could drive away from them guys. And, you know, towards the end, I was just like, you know, I wish it could have actually been a better race to the end. But, you know, in one sense, I wanted that. In another sense, I didn't want that. So, but to win here at Bristol is amazing. I got to thank all these fans for coming out. University of Northwestern Ohio for sponsoring us and sponsoring us this race. And Wheeling, our series sponsor, just backs us 100%. Bruton Smith, everybody here at Bristol for having us. I hope we can come back, and I hope we can put on an even better show next time.
Donny Lia with his 13th career win in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, but this was probably the most special.
Lia, big winner. Ted Christopher holds off Ryan Priest for second. George Brunholzl the third, fourth. Woody Pitkat a great top five. Zegedy faded to sixth. Rowan Pennick a nice seventh. Ed Flemke, Burt Myers, Eric Rudolph rounded out the top 10.
A good mix of people from the north and the south finishing in the top 10 today.
Andy Seiss 11th. He'll pick up some tour points for the south. Goodale, Miller, Beers, and Grigas. Chris Pastriak 16th, the last car on the lead lap. And those further back included Casey Kane, who dropped out after the 100-lap mark, and Ryan Newman, who crashed on lap 2 of this race, got caught up in somebody else's mess.
Stefanik, 3 DNFs in a row. Can't win a championship that way.
Sure. So Ted Christopher will hold his point lead, as will George Brunholzl. And coming up next, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series rumbles in to Thunder Valley. That'll be the Camping World Truck. See, I've been with the Modifieds for so long, I forget the name of today's series. The Camping World Trucks are here.
Well, it also shows the value of sponsoring, because sponsors' names stick in our minds.
Hope they let me come back. The Modifieds put on a great show here. Congratulations to Donny Lia, his car owner Bob Garbarino, Troyer Bob, and the rest of that Mystic Missile crew, because they whipped them today in Thunder Valley. And youth was served. Priest, Brunholzl, Pennick, with great finishes as well.
There was lightning and thunder tonight.
But the race itself was the perfect storm. The University of Northwestern Ohio 150, won by Donny Lia.